So this story starts with that song about a normal person doing a 925 job. Like every other person, he also had a dream of becoming rich, but he did not become rich so quickly. How did time go by? 2021 was going on, and property rates were increasing rapidly. At this time, a plan comes to his mind that, why not sell his house and do something else? He takes a loan and buys an apartment in a high-end building and keeps the remaining money with him. Will continue to unload through jobs, and until that apartment, if the payment is not cleared, he himself will stay there. And then he'll rent that apartment out at a high price. In this way, almost the same amount as his salary will continue to come from the rent of this apartment. His expenses will continue, and at the same time his very expensive asset will be made, approximately 1.1 billion sexes. If property rates continue to rise like this, then apartment rates will increase by approximately, it will increase from 1.1 billion sex to 5 billion sex, and then they will be good. He will start his own business by selling it at a profit, and will have a good start in his life. Thinking this, he quickly went to a property dealer, goes and buys an apartment in the same building, whose rates were increasing every hour. He sold his house and invested all his savings to make the down payment. But he still had to pay the remaining EMIs, as if his life had changed after buying this apartment. Now, since he had taken an apartment in a high-end building, he also started being counted among the high-profile people. And soon he got engaged too. Everything was going very well, very ideally. But in the meantime, COVID came, and while many businesses crashed due to Corona, the prices of these buildings and apartments have also started falling. The time has come to know about 2024. It turns out that the apartment he bought also dropped in price to just 800 million yen. The remaining amount was 1.1 billion rupees, which he had purchased at the actual price, and he is still paying the EMI. He was struggling to pay the amount, and his entire salary was spent on EMIs. He started working as a delivery boy for the goods. He used to get one meal in 3 meals. I used to eat it by splitting it. He even did not switch on the fan and lights in the house so that the bill would not come. He had taken charging lights and charging fans, which he secretly charges with his office electricity. He used to bring it and sometimes even steal food from the office canteen. Just as buying this apartment brought a big change in Song's life, similarly, the fall in its prices also brought about a very bad and big change. Her engagement was broken again, and she began facing difficult times in every way. And even more difficult was this: he could hear construction noises coming from this apartment all the time. He thought it must be coming from the apartment upstairs. So one day he goes to the apartment above and complains. But the man assures her that the sounds weren't coming from his apartment. Now even the neighbors of that song were getting fed up with these sounds. He also repeatedly left notes outside her house. Please stop the noise coming from your house. Everybody gets disturbed. Now he thinks that he will go and talk to the owner of the building about these noises. He tells the building owner that the construction noise coming from his apartment is so loud, so much so that he himself is unable to sleep, and on the contrary, the people of the entire building complain about him. He himself has complained many times in the maintenance sector, but no one takes action on her complaint, she tells him. I know she doesn't come from your apartment. This is due to a construction issue in the building. Give me 2 months, I'll fix it. He even tells her, how can I give you 2 months' time? I bought such an expensive apartment. I haven't slept here even for a single night, not to suffer. But then Inganyo places an envelope full of money in front of him and says, just 2 months, and seeing the money, that song also becomes silent. Money was already very tight. First of all, he buys a lot of food with this money and eats to his heart's content. Song went to the office the next day with a very fresh mind, where his friend tells him that you have done enough. I've done a foolish thing by investing all my money in one building. If you would have listened to me, if you had invested your money in crypto, you would have got a return of 700 to 800% by now. Song's friend had a lot of experience with crypto. He tells Song that in the coming days, if you invest in crypto, invest and you will get huge returns in about 6 or 7 days. But Song tells him, friend, I don't have any money. His friend tells him, such an opportunity will not come again and again. All you have to do is be part of 85 million sex, and I'm telling you, once you do this, all your debts will be repaid. It will be over in a jiffy, and your life will become easier. Suddenly, magically, his tensions were disappearing. He also decides that he will arrange the money, even if he has to mortgage his apartment. He invests. And on his friend's advice, according to him, he starts making profits after just a few minutes. She brings happiness back into Song's life. He does not go to office for 4 to 5 days because he is always sitting on his mobile. And what he was just looking at his profits on the laptop was what Song's friend told him, that you just have to wait for 6 days, and he gets very excited while waiting for 6 days. Katha started becoming very happy and seeing his actions. People outside, people began to think that Song was deliberately teasing the neighbors. He is getting pleasure from making noise and doing so. That is why the neighbors together file a complaint against him with the police. Seeing the police, Song gets scared and everyone believes him. He tries to convince you that he is not making these noises. He tells the police, "You can check my apartment if you want." Meanwhile, the owner of this building also comes here, and she tries to convince people that Song herself is in dire straits. These voices are not from him. But the people of the society do not listen to him either, and forces the police to check Song's house. He was sure the sounds weren't coming from his house. But after checking the house, it was found that there was such a thing in Song's house. There was a secret room about which Song himself did not know, and inside was a phone connected to a very loud speaker. The one causing the noise in the entire building had been living in the building for 4 years. He was enduring the noise himself. Why didn't he notice? He went mad with anger, and the police arrested him and took him away. After 2 days, he had to withdraw money from his crypto, and that day had also come. He requests the police, "I will obey everything you say and will even bear more punishment. Just one important thing, let me go home, I have some very important work, I will be back." But the police did not listen to him, and thus he took a loan and invested it in crypto. He starts facing losses there also. Song was already in a huge debt, a debt he couldn't afford. He makes an excuse to go to the washroom. As soon as the police release him, he goes to the police cabin. He takes out his phone and goes to a police office. He locks the room and quickly turns on the computer. He had to quickly log into his crypto account and close his trade. Before he can do so, the police break down the door and start dragging him inside. But he does not listen to anyone's song and remains busy with his work. Even the policeman shot a current on his hand with a taser gun. And after that pain, existence just tries to click. But before that, the policeman switched off the computer. The pain and shock of the whole thing caused Crunt to faint. His life was ruined once again. When he regained consciousness, he found out that she had come to get him released on bail. It was proven that the noise in the building was not caused by the song. The girl who kept coming and pasting those notes at Song's house, her husband was involved in all this. When Song returned home heartbroken, he found that his house had been destroyed by people from behind. That Song was broken, there was nothing left in his life. I lost my job, I lost my respect. This apartment, for which he had endured so much difficulty, was also lost to him because he had taken a loan and invested it in crypto. He had nothing left, so what was the use of this life? He started writing a suicide note, but then he thought of his mother. He decides to stay alive for his mother. And he decides to fight these difficulties of life as well. He tries to turn on his phone, but his phone was broken in the fight with the police. And then he sees another phone in his apartment. This was the same phone that was making noise in the building. He wanted to open it, but he didn't know the password. Wi-Fi signals were also coming in the phone, and that was checked. I started wondering where the last signals were coming from. It turned out that the signals were coming from the apartment directly above his apartment. This was Jinho's house, who had exerted great pressure on Hwa Song to have him arrested by the police. He knocks on Jinwoo's door and asks for the Wi-Fi password. But Jinho denies that there is no Wi-Fi at home. But Song knew the truth. He understood that something was definitely wrong. And Jinho must be trying to frame her for something. She had to find out the truth about what Jinho really wanted. That is why one day, as soon as Jin left the house, Jin secretly sneaks into his house and watches over his Wi-Fi. This was nothing. While exploring the entire apartment, he kept the things he saw as his own. But I couldn't believe it. A complete surveillance setup was installed here. Jinho was keeping an eye on the people in the entire building, and what did he want by doing all this? After all, that Song had also gone to another room where pictures of people from the entire apartment were written, and it was clearly visible that he was collecting data about the people in the apartment. And most of all, the data he had collected about him, the owner of this building. When he goes to the service system again, he sees that he has saved many such mobile phones here, who were also connected, which were making noise in the entire building, but only Jinyo was making this noise. Why did he trap Vaeso in exchange for this noise, and why did he even want to make this noise? He doesn't understand these things at all. Well, before leaving, he took pictures of the entire house. He collects the evidence before he goes out and opens the door to his... Returning to the apartment, Woo Song has no other way to save himself. So there was no escape. He hid inside a cabin there and waited till nightfall when she became increasingly angry until Jinhoo fell asleep and stopped coming from the apartment. He was coming to kill Jinhoo, but before he could, someone at Jinhoo's house... When the bell rings, Song hides under his bed again to save herself. He hides and finds out that the same woman who had left notes outside Song's house had come here. She used to cling to me and also those with whom she was in cahoots for money, that woman, that Song. After Jinhyo returned, she was very scared, and to save Jinhyo, she called her husband, was also sent to jail, and now she did not want to get into any such trouble. She tells Jinhoo that she will not work for him anymore, but Jinhoo gives her a lot of money here. He says, not for long, just a few more days, because he does not understand the feelings of that woman. I was not understanding the matter and wanted to buy it with money. Because of all these things, that woman would get very angry. She goes and starts breaking all the cassettes in his room. Jinhoo also gets very angry with his action, that he picked up a hammer lying nearby and hit the woman on the head. He murders her, and Song sees all this with his own eyes. As soon as he is killed, Jinjo gets a call from someone, and Jinjo leaves from here. Song also tries to escape from the apartment as soon as he gets the chance. But Jinhoo was still standing at the door of his house, and he wasn't surprised at all by the song. He tells her, I already knew you were at my house. Hearing this, Song was terrified because she felt that Jinhoo would kill her like that woman. But before he died, he wanted to ask a few questions one last time. He asks Jinyo, why are you doing all this and why did you trap me? James explains, actually, I'm a journalist and I was looking for a story. Where could I find someone better than you? A madman who sold his house. He spent all his money on the apartment and then he was caught on a false charge. He says, I will do everything with you and tell your story. I wanted to write it and then sell it to all the news channels. That would have earned me a lot of money, and the price of this building would have been even higher. It would collapse, and the biggest loss would be to the owner of this building. Musume doesn't understand again, that is, what do you want to achieve by reducing the prices of this building? He says, that's why they messed with me, because he did a lot of damage to the construction. The prices of these apartments started falling, and like you, I also suffered a huge loss. There were always strange noises coming from the walls of these apartments, but those sounds were not loud enough to complain about. That's why I set up this sound setup, so more people get disturbed and more people complain. Hee-sung cries and tells her, oh, so I didn't do all this. I too have suffered the same loss as you. Or you can say that your enmity was more with them than with you. You would have trapped him, why did you trap me? He says, I have told you I wanted to take revenge from them, but what I needed most was a story, by presenting which I would have become famous, and I could not find a better story than yours. But now I feel like you're no longer a story to me. Saying this, he attacks Song, but Song tells him, no, hit me. Look, I have a plan if you want to take revenge on them. Ho Jin-hoo stops and says, why do you want to help me? Musong replies that he just wants to save his home and make up for his losses. But Jin-ho wasn't ready to give up on her yet. Song tells him, look, I just saw you murder a woman. If I want, I can go and complain against you, I can get you hanged. But no, I won't do that to win your trust. In fact, I will also dispose of this body along with you. After all these things, Jinyo started believing in that song a little bit, but he says, if you try to show even a little cleverness, I will be the biggest fool. I will murder you first. That song tells him to be carefree, and here, these two become partners in crime, after which both of them go to their... As soon as they enter the penthouse, they attack both of them. She gets more nervous, and Jinwoo tells her that, you remember me, but I remember you well, and I know everything about you. You used to be a lawyer, then you got into this construction business, and you did a lot of corruption. He also earned a lot of money. I collected all the evidence of your corruption. I also had reports of all the construction faults in this building. I even gave it to the news channel. But you got me fired. Using your sources, you spread that news, and then sold these apartments at double their rates. Jinyo tells me that from that day on, I started hating you. It started. And then I was determined to destroy you. That's when I bought this apartment, and I've been keeping an eye on you ever since. She denies that the person you are talking about is not me, but those who know about her. One does not listen and says, "Go and bring me your account book." Anu tells me, "Account book. I don't know about the book. My husband handles all these things and only he would know." Now Jinyo angrily drags her injured husband out of the locker. He gets it opened, but he does not find any account book in the locker. At this time, he sings in, and Kanho tells him, "I know you are that song, forgive me. So I cheated you. But if you help me today, I will give you the money and transfer this apartment completely in your name. I will clear all your debts." Song tells him, "I can't do anything. He killed a woman down there and wants to kill me too. He will definitely kill you." And Noonan tells him, "Don't worry, untie my hands and go inside the office, my pistol is there. You can use it to protect yourself and kill Jinyo." Listening to Jin, Song quickly went to the office. He takes out the gun and gives the donation of dirt to whoever sees him, and is so impressed by the doti given by him, he gets so angry that he catches hold of him and starts beating him. Poor Wo Song drops the gun from his hand, and before Jinyo can kill him completely, she comes from behind and picks up the gun and fires a shot at Jinyo. But it turns out that Jinghu didn't want to die with this. It was a special kind of pistol from inside, whom only unconscious gas was to come out, and whoever hears this gas becomes unconscious. She and her husband knew this. That's why both of them covered their noses and sang that song. The snake hides itself from everyone so that they do not suspect anything. Now she tells her husband to kill Jinho. The poor man himself was injured, but still he used all his strength to kill him, and after killing him, he himself dies. Song is shocked to see all this. Before he could do anything, she comes from behind and starts hitting him with a hockey stick. That Song, when he is on the verge of death, she tells him, "I hate people like you. It is strange that poor people, in their greed to become rich, buy flats in such big buildings. You try to match the elite class and spread the smell of hatred in the entire society. Look at the account cook. From people like you, I was looking for it. It was kept on the shelf. And you did not get her." She kept telling Song all the crimes she had committed one by one. She kept telling it confidently because she knew that Song was not going to survive, and who else? He will go and tell all these things to the police and the media. After telling all these things, he will again. She picks up her hockey stick to hit Song on the head, but then Jinwoo gets up from behind. He grabs his throat, and it is revealed here that he was not dead yet. He was just acting as if he was dead. "I was doing it so that I could say all these things myself." Now he kills them completely by strangling them. At this point, Jinghu's own condition was very bad, and he tells Song, "Pick up this account book and go and give it to any media house so that every single piece of evidence about this building is revealed to everyone." That Song also gets up and picks up that book, and inside this book he finds that page too, which included evidence that he had even demolished his apartment. Seeing this, he starts moving towards the kitchen, and Jinwoo, confused, asks him, "What are you trying to do?" Then Song tells him, "Now I am following someone's instructions." Saying that he would not dance, he microwaved the account and his debts. He throws away both the evidences, after which he turns on the gas here and turns on the microwave. He leaves the house, and within a short time the apartment explodes, and he keeps watching the spectacle silently. Because of this penthouse, he is against Song. All evidence that he had killed Jinjo had he helped in the crime, or had he taken revenge, after which he makes a very brilliant move and goes to the police. He goes and gives the police all the evidence he collected from Jinhoo's house, whereas he does not tell anything about the building to the police because he knows that if he reveals anything about the building, he will be severely punished. It would become a huge scandal, and their apartment rates would start falling again. Now the news is that there was no issue in this building. Just a man named Jinyo was tarnishing the name of this building due to his enmity with the owner of the building. As soon as this news came, the building rates started increasing again, and Wo Song's problems start getting resolved again. After which, happily, Song returns to his apartment. There were still faint noises coming from his apartment. He knew it was a construction fault and would never close, but he didn't care. All he had to do was sell it and get out of here, and that was it. The movie also ends with this story of his bravery and courage.